We head through an afternoon that's quickly turning into a bit of a negative one, to say the least. Markets selling off pretty heavily currently, really not seeing a reason for this yet, but we are still dealing with a positive day for the most part, right across the entire board. I'll show you the sector board in a second here, but it's been about tech all day long outside of, here's Tesla back to the downside once again. We went negative early on, really never recovered. 238.80 coming back into play on the way back to the upside. There was an AI headline on Uber. They were going to create or launch their own Uber Eats specifically. They're going to create their own AI chatbot to quote unquote rival others in the space. But there's the board. Yeah, it's still pointing to a decent amount of green on here, but we're running out of room as far as what is holding in positive territory. Amazon, one of the first to go red on the day. There's a lot of weakness in healthcare stocks today, specifically some of the pharmaceutical names, J&J, Merck specifically, the worst off in this group right now. Bristol Myers downside as well, 0.8% right now. MDT 1.08. Pfizer down here, ABT also red on the day. Utilities were also among the first to go red back to the downside. We're giving some up in the banking sector as well. So some of the smaller regional banks specifically back in negative territory as we head into the final couple hours of the day. Still holding into green right now as far as the SPY is concerned. But yeah, pretty nasty sell-off coming into play right now. Same story here for the Qs, also still to the upside to the tune of about a 0.25%, but 365 needs to hold here. We could see a little bit more downside. Yeah, I showed you that headline earlier this morning. Micron still holding up decently well, around $65. It was an interesting start to the morning, looked very positive right across the board. We were talking a lot about some of the Chinese names. Xpeng was one of those right out of the gate, ends up being very weak. We come all the way back to essentially where it ended on Friday. Also a really great day to the upside on Friday. Back above 18 right now, but Xpeng comes out with that note. In regards to DD, they were picking up their smart car division for about $744 million. There we go. DD Global and Xpeng teaming up, $744 million for DD's EV unit specifically. That'll create cheaper, more affordable. We've heard this from all of the automakers over, or all of the EV makers over in China, in that 20,000 range, more priced a little bit more attractively in China. So good look for Xpeng guys trying to hold higher here to kick off the final couple hours of the day.
All right, welcome back. We got Obi here. We're really thanks again. Just running some messages to some of our guests. All right, so we're ready to rock and roll, man. We flipped over to the short. It's been quite a nice little move down in the last 20 minutes or so. We did hit some great longs, man. Apple actually now the #1 stock on board for me. We hit a great long there. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But right now, XBEV, I mean, yeah, we're still 50 cents in the money on it. We should have got, I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda, whatever. This is what happened today. We dumped out right there on XBEV. We've talked about this. And then we were just letting it fall down. And unfortunately, again, to be more patient in these names, I think is really, I always say the same thing every day. And it's just like, kind of feel sometimes like a little bit of a broken record to myself here, because like here this name comes, another name that we really like, floats right back in. I heard the professor talking about no better print or no better area to look at than yesterday's close. And I mean right here, 1750, came right in. And we just was like sort of standing there. We knew we liked the long, but it doesn't matter. I don't think the long was right, obviously, because you started the day up here, up 6.5%, and then it just fell down. Now, we were pretty lucky that we didn't get stopped out on a breakthrough 50, so able to make all this money back and then almost getting that dollar winner back up to 1840. But we're still holding a little small piece of this. Pretty disappointing considering what I thought here was a pretty clean break of like right into here. 1775, nice little break to the upside. Thought we could have one of these little middle finger to the short days here where you get a big move up. Now obviously a partnership with a Volkswagen is a lot different than a partnership with a DD, especially to the Canadian and US markets. We don't really know much about that kind of stuff. So we're gonna have to wait to see where this goes. But I still like Xpeng. I still think there's a reason to buy this name. It's bouncing off the 50 period moving average right here and sort of smiley facing up. So this has been a good little chart pattern that we've talked about a couple times here on the show. So I like that move. It's got to get back down here before you buy it. But today, disappointed that we haven't gone higher. Look, we're in 50 cents in the money. That's all great and everything. But I really thought there would have been a bigger move here today for XPEV, and then I'm not even going to, DD's not doing anything at all. So that name's not doing anything on the pink sheets, but we'll have to wait to see here what happens with Xpeng. Tends to sort of level off here in the afternoon. You know, if it does come back into these levels, we'll buy it again, 1780. But it has to do that first, and if it does that, then we'll be we're short the market here, as you can see. So, you know, hopefully the market does continue to fall down. But if it does, then let's look at something around here, 1780, 1790 for XPEV. But has not been a very good trade.
Yeah, no, I don't think the market being a heavy sell has really been helping on the XPEV long, although decent news, right? So what I had noticed in peculiar here, like these are just 15-minute candles, and we were talking about this morning. We were looking for the continuation of that Xpeng move from last week. Take a look. The first half an hour, first 15-minute roughly consolidation holds and tends to be the lower, or it was the low end of the day last week. And today, coming in today, we hold that first half hour as well, pretty strong. So that's kind of the trend I'm seeing as well. So let's see if we can hold this trend. While the market is like pushing back towards 15, pushing back towards the lows, Xpeng has been able to hold its morning consolidation. So I think I like that look, still holding above that uptrend.
All right, the price action here on all of these looking very similar today. I'm just going to pull up this one. 3M also get the move to the upside in the pre-market. As soon as the market opens, you get a huge flush, and now we're trying to bounce once again back to 104. If you missed it early on, there was a settlement announced, $5.5 billion settlement in a lawsuit that was clearly less than expected. That's not the right one. There's this crazy circle of never-ending searching going on right now on a lot of platforms that are news-related. So apparently there's a thing with news right now. I don't know. Anyway, 3M ends up being a bit of a tough trade if you were looking to the upside. We do get a push through to 106, but then right back down.
Yeah, from a macro perspective, it looks great because they were about to pay over $10 billion to settle 700,000 lawsuits. Lots of issues with respect to the earplugs causing deafness, and another issue, I don't remember the name of the condition, but hey, settling now with, yeah, I think they had over 700,000 lawsuits they had to settle.
We also touched on, I mean, a few other angles for this company from a general standpoint. One of those being tape, and there's an increasing amount of demand for tape, apparently, going out to, what was it, 2025, $116 billion industry. Tape. Seems like a lot.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was looking. I mean, I want to kind of get short here on some of these names. We will talk about 3M here. So we just had a pretty big winner there. We got out of NVIDIA up here. If you guys are wondering, like you thought Sharif was talking about it, and he was, because we went up to 470. Obviously, when we're long here at 460, that was $10. We should have taken it, but instead we take $7 NVIDIA, now the number 2 name profit-wise here for me today. We tried some shorts. We actually had a pretty good short here at 460 before falling down. I know we're going to talk about NVIDIA at some point. Then we shorted 460 again before getting out and just flipping the long. And that was 250 right there at 460, 250, and then 468 out right now. I was actually looking, and I know Obi wants to talk about Amazon at some point as well, but I'm thinking about shorting this one, and if we get up into this 40s or 50 area. And then AMD again, like we were short into here, and then it broke, but we flipped long into NVIDIA, so it's kind of like no skin off our back, but this is coming into, again, another little area, but I want to try to be patient if we can do it with that on all of this. So, all right, let's just remain patient. All right, 3M right now, just letting you know that we do have offers right now on Amazon in the 40s and 50s, looking to grab that short. And then I guess I can cancel my NVIDIA buy. That's not coming down to 458 anytime soon. And then we are looking to short some more TQQs. You can see that we're already in that position as well. But 3M gave you that dip buy opportunity. Again, you know, they're clearing the way here. There's a 6% dividend. Obviously, they've been in trouble now. There's over, like you said, 700 lawsuits about this one condition now settled. Looks like they like that. It's up 5%. They might have made more today just in market cap than they did in the settlement. So that's a good one, but it's been really beat down. And the thing about 3M is, I mean, like I said, boom, Nike had 11 straight down days. Now you get that little bit of a relief rally. The fact is, we came down to that 103 already. That's the 50 period. So that was probably the buy zone right there. So let's just double check to see what happened. There's 102.50. So, yeah, you would have easily bought that 102.90 or whatever that 50 period is, held it 40 cents against you, and then been able to take it out for 104 and change. But it's not super exciting. I mean, with the market moving around, I don't think you guys really want us to be trading 3M, but there is a good level there at 104. That's the VWAP. So I think if you can break above it and this market gets going, I'd rather go long than short this name with the good news. So what I perceive to be good news. And again, if we sort of look at this level right there, that top of 104.25 actually coming in right here. So it was in play earlier. We held it, dropped down, came back, resisted it, dropped, and really haven't broken through yet. So that level right there, I think I'm going to take this 104.25 break right there. I like that trade. I'm going to stamp this right now. 104.25 for a possible breakout in 3M. I actually like that trade. I'm going to look at it and take that if we do break 104.25 on 3M. I'm glad we actually talked about this.
Yeah, I think that we were looking for that 106 in the morning.
Yep.
I think that was a great place to kind of interact with, a great price to interact with. And yeah, some of the best prices don't last for very long, and they just clipped that 106, and now we are teetering below VWAP. So yeah, I think the breakout past this point is very valid if we can kind of bid back up, and we might get that with the market kind of holding some of these previous lows, like we said before. We might just have an inside day, right? So market selling off not really helping this move, but if and when the market does catch a bid, the 3M might just bid right back up, and we might get another chance at that 106 on a bit of strength there.
There we go. Let's talk about VinFast here. VFS back above 83 and holding currently. So 200 billion now makes it the third most valuable automaker, period, for VFS. No other news on this today, but what a day it's been. I just said to Sharif before we came back on here, here's this thing holding up 20%.
I don't know what to say, Brendo, but the price action is what it is. But let's talk about the actual fundamentals. This is a car company that wants to make 50,000 cars this year. And in order to do that, they're going to have to triple the amount that they've delivered. Compare that to the 1.8 million cars that Tesla will likely deliver this year. Now, on the good side, they are spending $4 billion to build a plant in North Carolina that they hope will churn out about 75,000 cars a year. We'll have to wait and see. It's up big. It's now 191 billion market cap.
It's also, oh yeah, by the way, bigger than Goldman Sachs and Boeing, if anyone's keeping score.
Oh man, like bigger than Boeing. This is great. Okay, so all right, I just took a new position. We could talk about this just real quickly. So we always like to hit this when it's new position. It has nothing to do with Boeing or VFS or anything. It's just AMD right now. Like if the market's going to flush, I really feel like we need to be shorting some of these chip names. I mean, it's easily could not work here. We're not going to give this too much room, man. I mean, breaking basically above 50 into 55 or so here, it's going to be 30 cents worth of room. I mean, I think we can easily, risk to reward on this. I think it's here. VWAP is right here. I mean, we could get out. Maybe we'll be a little more frugal with this and get out if it does break a 50 level or so, but then I might as well get 55s. Okay, yeah, 55 or so here on this trade. We do have some more outs looking to the upside, or some more ins. If we do get up here, trying to take something like in the 40s, see if that works out. But right now, we'll put this in right now. 102. 50, what did I say, 55 or so as a breaking spot there for advanced micro devices. But now, okay, VFS, wow, yeah, I mean, that's a good part that it's on the board there. I saw someone in the chat, and me and Obi actually, I never know if people are serious or not, but I saw someone earlier, and I'm going to say, basically,
oh my God.
They said that they shorted this 92 pop. Now, like, anybody can say anything, but it isn't unbelievable to have shorted that pop right there into 92. So if you did that, I mean, all I can say is cheers up and congratulations, because that's an absolutely fantastic fill. But the one thing that I want to talk about that we all indicated earlier about VFS, and that is that we know the story. We know how many shares are out there. And it's just like, you go back, and you can go back a lot of different days here. This goes back to Friday or Thursday. We can just keep going back. And what it is here is it's actually respecting some of these levels after it dips down and gives you like a little bit of a base. Like there's nothing wrong with going long here, 46, 45, 46, 47 on Thursday, right? And then here's the move down, up. Here's the move down, comes right back into 54 and resists it. Here's the move up, comes right back again into some levels, 63, 64, and I'm not, this is not data mining. Like I'm just looking back at this for the first time right now. Comes back in what we talked about this morning, but comes back into 63, 64 there. So then let's use that same logic into today again. So, you know, here's the move down. So you kind of leave it. That's in the morning. So we're not even going to look at the pre-market, but here's a base sell right here. And I actually mentioned this when we talked about this probably about 10 o'clock or 10:30, is that VFS made this bottom at $78 again, right? Ripped up, came back in, hit $78 again. Ripped up, came back in, hit 80, and then obviously this moved to 92. But then look, we came right back in and landed at 78 again before making the move back to 85, 86. So I don't know. I don't think it's unreasonable to look at this as a trade and trading it off of support. I would never look at resistance. I mean, maybe if you're really going to be picky, you might want to give yourself a 90 out here if you're long. But I think VFS is very, very reasonable to have hit this long at $78. Like, it just seems to be there.
Yep.
So although we can sit here and talk about let's be afraid of this name and there's no way I would trade it, just because it doesn't fit sort of my personality, I really feel like if you're playing support and resistance, this is fantastic. I mean, it keeps coming back in and filling. Came back in and filled, someone at 64 there, right? Came back in right here and filled this 55, 56 area. And every single time you're rewarded with a nice pop. Will this continue on VFS? I mean, this is what the chart looks like, straight to the upside. You know, at some point, now I don't know what the schedule looks like. Maybe we can do some work and find this out. Shout out to everybody out there. When are they going to start freeing up some more shares? That would be the widowmaker for any long. So the minute that more shares become tradable, this name will be finished with. But until that time, VFS continues to give people support levels that realistically we should be respecting, Obi.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. If you're looking for that home run trade on the shorthand side, yeah, that's definitely. I don't think that's there yet. As we're doing like that stair step hold, right? You kind of you make the short look enticing, and then you just hold some levels, or you look like you're going to break down, and then you start wicking back up off of those levels. Really, with volatility. Yeah, I think that 77.50, that 78 area, there's clearly somebody there all day today. And yeah, if Buddy had a short at that 92, good on you. That was a great short. I don't know how long the price was there for, but yeah, definitely a great place. But if you're short up here in the 89, 50s, and the 90s, and you're looking for that home run trade all the way back down to 50s, yeah, I don't know what the probability of you getting that today is, as some of these bottoms on the day, 76, 75s, getting, I guess, vigorously bought up right above previous resistances.
All right, let's go on to Chinese ADRs here. I had Baba's chart up here. Why don't I bring this over, and we'll talk about Alibaba this way. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Still 30% off, guys, until the end of the day. Trader TV 30, bottom right corner, will get you that. Here is Alibaba. We were talking about these from the standpoint of a couple of angles here. Chinese officials overnight were talking a little more loosely on policy on foreign investment. They were also making some changes as far as ticket prices to prop up their stock market. So they've cut their per trade ticket fee in half. And fun story, if you go way back when, I was actually trading here overnight, which included the Hong Kong session or the Asian session, but we were trading on Hong Kong. And Hong Kong was actually always the most expensive, like the highest fees out of all of those markets. So here they are cutting that in half now, much later after I was involved in that. But anyway, back to the downside this is a 5-minute chart, but back to the downside as well for Alibaba today.
Yeah, some much needed stimulus, Brendo, on that as well. They're relaxing some residential housing loan rules there that we know that they've had a lot of trouble in the real estate market. Evergrande actually retrading today, down 87%. We mentioned that. Gina Raimondo, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, also there doing some work to salvage that $700 billion trade relationship.
Maybe the start of something, hopefully, for some of these. Anyways, guys, back to the upside here for most ADRs today.
Oh, we got one good idea there, shorting AMD. Shorting AMD has been a really nice one there. We were just watching it, looking at this name coming back down in. So we just got some 102s or 102.08 there on AMD. We do have a 102.12. Remember, our stop was going to be like 55, so short 22s. It's not even a 1-to-1 yet. The thing about risk to reward on some of these trades, and I know everyone's looking for that because we read textbooks or do we? I don't know. But they always say that you got to have a 1-to-1 risk to reward. You don't actually have to. Not when scalping has nothing to really do with anything like that. You're trying to play momentum, and if you're get away from here. And if you're trying to go short on names and you get something where you think maybe that you've run into some possible support, especially at 102 flat, nothing wrong with taking a couple more pieces out, as I just put another bid right now at 13 and take another fill there. So, we're starting to get it out. Obviously, we'd love for this thing to tank down in. I'm using 1-to-1 as a spot where I'd like to be out of 50%. Okay, when we get to 1-to-1, and I'll explain that more with our NVIDIA trade and why that allowed us to get an $8 winner there, right? And so this is the thing, like right now, if we're gonna get out at 55, we're short at 23, so that's 30 cents, roughly 32 cents worth of a win. So this really does have to break to 102 to the downside. So if we do get into this area, which was the target, then that's when we'll have a much bigger part of the pie to come out, right? And so obviously we're gonna try to respect the 102 flat area, but if we do get that opportunity to get out, we will do that right now. Okay, Alibaba was on the sticky note today. It was a good trade. Unfortunately, I have this red mark here that happened, and that was a give up of 92. So, we went long into here. We definitely took some profit all the way up, and then we held like our last 10%, but then we averaged it back in here on the 200 period at that time. So let's just zoom back in a little bit. Here's the initial break of 92. We wrote down right on the sticky note that we wanted that trade, so that was fine. So we took it, we got out. Some of our best outs early was 50 right there. That's another good out at 60. Well, we have an out right there at 20s, another out at 50. So these are all good, man. These are like 45, 50 cents worth of a trade. Then it comes right back in and we get long 92.04 before dumping it out at 91.90 break. So unfortunately, I saw the professor and he was like, yeah, there goes Alibaba. And I was like, damn it. I wish we still had held out for that trade. But realistically, the minute we broke our levels, and this is where we talk about rules. I know Obi's a big stickler for this, and I'm trying to be as well. Once you break down below and we take that 10-cent hit, that's it. Then we're going to get out of everything. Obviously, still a very positive name for me today, so we'll put a green mark in the book for Alibaba. And I really do like the long. It's just like you're up right now where we started the day. Like this is where we started. So, I mean, we did start down here at 91.30. So I guess if you're going to be specific, but it's just we've been around here all day. So what's the story then? If you think the NASDAQ is going to continue lower, then you don't want to go long this name, right? And I don't even think it's a short because of the good news. We're more aggressive than the market is today, relatively strong. So for me, I would rather wait for Alibaba to make a dramatic move, give us that long back near 91.25 again. So I'm going to wait for that. Don't have a good read on it on these levels. But again, congratulations, man. Alibaba's at the 50-period moving average right now. If you've been buying these dips, I think it's been okay, but you have to be disappointed with the performance today. Cutting that tax in half should have been a good enough rally spot for Alibaba, and it just didn't really do it. PDD reports later on this week. What are they up or down today? This is the Chinese, not YouTube. Not Amazon, maybe it's YouTube. PDD actually down today. Baidu, I think, is the YouTube of China, I believe. PDD is what? We always say they're equal to something. What is Pindu? What does it say over there?
Online retailer is Pinduoduo.
Okay, so Amazon.
Agriculture industry.
Okay, so
focused on agriculture.
Focused on agriculture.
Huh,
okay, so I don't know if I can really
online
equate
retailer
them.
focused on agriculture. That's PDD.
Yeah, so Baidu is more hands in everything. Baidu right now 2.94% to the upside. This is actually bouncing a little bit better. Look at this clean line right here. Baidu drops down here at 11 o'clock into 137.50 and just gave you a whole bunch of that again right now. This is not a bad idea either. I don't know why. I'm always trading Baba, but maybe Baidu here is something interesting. Look at Baidu bouncing off the 50 period as well of 140. It's an interesting name down here. All right, AMD made a move up. Now it's coming back down. I don't know. I don't want to. I'm only out of 15% of this so far. So let's let AMD continue to bleed right now. Any good love here on Chinese ADRs for you? You got any work on those?
Not really. I think very similar. I was looking for that bid to kind of catch, and out the open was great. I think the opening drive out the open on a lot of these Chinese ADRs definitely gave that move to you. But yeah, as the market kind of chops around and kind of mainly sells off, that the move as well has kind of slowed down and started chopping. To be noted, started chopping above the open, right? So that's kind of the similar thing here across the board. Well, maybe not as much JD. JD kind of closer to its open, but yeah, BABA definitely holding. We had PDD as well. PDD is holding as well. No, PDD actually different. Huh?
Yeah,
this one is actually
down today.
Right. Okay, so this one looking distinctly different from some of the other ADRs here. So there might be some something going on there differently. But yeah, we were looking for that bid, and some of that bid came in right out the open on some of these names. But now it seems that it's just dissipated.
Started 2020. Let's talk CrowdStrike. Back to day lows. Actually, as we speak here, we took out these lows from last week in the pre-market this morning. It really has never looked back. There was some analyst moves this morning, a couple to the upside, but one downgrade and a negative note on this as well, which seems to have led the way as far as CRWD, 4.5% right now and falling.
Yeah, the Morgan Stanley analyst that downgraded this basically cited the key industrial verticals, including tech and telco and retail, citing obviously Target, Home Depot, and the other names that have been hurt. Not really sure how that factors in with CrowdStrike, but they're basically saying spending is drying up, and they're looking at this one suffering a little bit as well.
Yeah, we'll see if there's a bottom somewhere. The rundown, guys, as always, brought to you by our friends over at Trade Ideas. Again, still available to you until the end of today. 30% off. You get this. This is the brand new web version that includes these really cool races that they're called over at Trade Ideas at the bottom of the screen. Very clean, very concise, very simple to use. You can type in any stock and pull up not only vital information on the individual company, including market cap, including short float, 0.5% here for Apple on the short side, if anyone was wondering. Charts, news, the whole thing, all included, guys, on the web app version of Trade Ideas, 30% off until the end of the day. Go grab that. You can use that QR code bottom right corner right now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, we like all that stuff here with Trade Ideas. I mean, I continue to use some of their different profiles and their scans and things like that. I mean, I really like Trade Ideas, so shout out to Michael Noss, and I think that's a great opportunity to get involved. And it's just, we don't affiliate with everybody. We got to vet these guys, and we did that for Trade Ideas, and Michael was just here just the other day, and actually will be with me tonight at 4 o'clock, and I want to talk about that Mattel trade and some other ideas that he's had. He's actually really, you guys seen uranium these days? I mean, this was a play that we called up just a couple days ago with Michael, and it's been really doing real well, man. This uranium play over the last little while starting to break out now. We actually highlighted this down here last week, $21, $22, and starting to break outside a little bit right now with uranium. Nice little upside mover right here. So we'll have to look at that. All right, we just talked. Okay, now we're right back. So all right, we'll short a little bit more. The market is getting some love there, but look at AMD just got aggressive right there. This is why we talk about it all the time, and you sort of got to be who you are and make sure that you're. I'm trying to find. Let's just do this. I don't know because. Like I was getting out down here, we talked about this, right? Where our target was, that our target for AMD would have been down here somewhere into the 80s, really, if you give it, a bigger move. But we got that 30 cents, and it actually broke down exactly where we want to, into that 1-to-1. So we took a bunch out there. You can see we have 2 or 3 outs here at 102 flat. So that was actually turned out to be a good trade. And I don't. This is what I mean when you're a scalper. Using 1-to-1 and risk reward, things like that. I mean, when you're coming up to big levels like 102 and you have 30 cents in the money, you might as well take it. The stocks could always float back up, and especially when you're really on and a pretty inside day here on the NASDAQ. I mean, sure, it went up, came back down, filled down here a little bit. Now you're starting to cruise back up. We could easily hit back to the VWAP, which is right here at 15,050. So, you don't want to continuously lose on these ideas, or at least not take something out when they do come in. And it does give you an opportunity to reload. But again, if this is not your type of trade, then you want to trade it a little bit differently. I really like CrowdStrike down here. again, I know it's not Pan W, and we always talk about that. Like, we got a good number from Pan, and I'm going to find out what and that's Palo Alto, of course, what they're doing. But CrowdStrike right here, just on the daily, forget about what it's doing today. It's down 4%. We know that that's not great. And but you're coming back in right now. And when do they, hold on a second, I have trade ideas up right now. Let me just find out when they report again. Is it Wednesday? CRWD right now. Aftermarket on the 30th. So yeah, Wednesday. So you're going to get Wednesday aftermarket coming with CrowdStrike. So again, you know, Pan W sort of pulled the wool over everybody's eyes, thought that, hey, reporting on a Friday, 2 Fridays ago, what's up with that? There has to be something wrong with them. There completely wasn't, and they started heading back up to the upside. CrowdStrike's right at a very, very good level again. We're getting a lot of consolidation into here at 140. Those have been the bottoms, and it was also the top. You can go all the way back to February. If you're trading on a macro level and you're really just trading themes that you like, how could you not like heading into a election year, you know, heading into obviously China, Russia, sort of the relationships don't seem to be super steady right there. We had some North Korea throwing out missile tests last week that Japan didn't like there. You know, I mean, these guys, you're going to need to sort of get the cybersecurity tight, get that going. And again, if you're going to play best of breed, I really feel like you do want to look at Pan W. But let me see how far they've pulled back here a little bit. Because if they pull back significantly off their earnings, then I think, like, yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. This is where there was the wool over everybody's. Oh, yeah, we got the split, so hold on a second. There's the wool over everybody's eyes down here at 2, and then here's the move back up to 240. So it gives you like 20% of a move on earnings, and now it's starting to fade back out. I would still much prefer this back down near 200, but you're not going to get that opportunity. Maybe you do if CrowdStrike misses. So I think right now, forget about it. You're better off waiting until, yeah, forget about it, whoever that was in the back. But I really think that you might as well wait for CrowdStrike earnings report before you do anything. Like, why not? You don't want them to miss brutally, and the next thing you know, you're down here in the teens, right? So that could also happen. For me, Obi, I'm going to leave CrowdStrike alone. But yeah, today's not a very good day for them, man. I mean, they started to break levels. And if you've been short, look at the 50 period. Pretty much all day. That's this pink all day. And it looks like you're going to take down this level again, 142.50. So although I'm already short AMD and I like it, and we just got a nice little reload there, I think CrowdStrike is probably short again as well, breaking down through 142.50. So that might be a trade that I take as well. I don't know. I don't want to be too many things short, but that's good.
For sure.
CrowdStrike weak.
I think I have a saying that goes with this chart pretty well. The trend is my friend.
Yes.
The trend is my
I
friend.
think that's something that you made up as well.
No, I don't know about that. It's definitely been said by some of the greats before me. But yeah, no, definitely a strong trend selling off on CrowdStrike for the past few days. And then again, those sellers kind of coming in pretty hot and heavy again today. Even though they had, I guess, what was it? They went from overweight to an equal weight today. So bit of a downgrade there, and bringing back some of the selling here as the market's looking kind of heavy as well.
All right, so we are now done with that rundown. So thank you so much to everybody. We do have Ms. Danielle Shea scheduled to come on about 3 p.m. So there'll be some interesting topics getting thrown around with her. So that should be interesting. Oh, we just said interesting twice. What was pretty good was we got a 102.10 there again off the reload for AMD. I still feel like this market is weak. We missed the reload on the NASDAQ right there. I was waiting at 44. Believe it or not, it went to 43. Like, sometimes I think on these ETFs, it's like, you know, just punch. Like, if it comes close enough to you, man, just punch the other level. There's so much liquidity here. It's like it's not really going to matter which sort of level you're at. I want to go short because we're under the 50 period. We're under VWAP right here on the NASDAQ. We are approaching the initial balance low again, which we've been bouncing off of. Let's forget about, I mean, we're not going to forget about the initial balance because it's right here. Shout out to Dan. Thank you so much for that again. But this 14,980, that's been the bottom. Let's just retest it again. You know, like, I really think that that's in store here today. Weak move, man. No news creating this move to the downside. Fly around. Right, that's way overreacting there. It's a little house fly. Yeah, nice dip down in again. Let's just, I don't know. Like, I want to give trades and I want to give some trade ideas, and I think that's something that You can really be, like, instead of giving trade ideas, we can just tell you guys, like, sometimes the best thing to do is just to be straight up, just be patient, and wait for these plays to actually come through. Like, you don't want to say, oh, my day's okay right now, and then, so let me just put something on because I feel like the NASDAQ is going to go down. We'd really like to get some indications here that it does want to go. And I still think that first break right now of 15,000 has to happen clean. Then we have to get some retests. Like, we never got it. Like, here's the break of 15,000. Just, and forget about the pre-market, but here's the break right here. So first of all, we come down and touch it, basically. That's not even 15,000. This is 15,000. So we don't touch it there, but close enough, right? Boom, back up to the upside. This basically nails it to the penny back up to the upside. Then it comes down and we break it, but we go 10 handles, and then we retest it back down another 10, maybe 20 handles. Then we come up and break it to give us 20 handles. Then we come back. Like, this right here is basically an FU to anybody that's trying to play momentum, because 20 handles off of 15,000 doesn't give you anything. And then you don't even get like a retest back down into these lows or a retest back into these highs. And then finally we go back into those highs, and then that is the break. So right here was the one trade that you had off of 15,000, in my opinion. If you break that, you get another trade right now. So I feel like you either want to go long, maybe. If now we just got to wait. I mean, it's not even testing 15,000. There it is right there. So now we need to break either here. I'm playing off VWAP to get aggressive back up to the upside, but you're not even really getting a smooth break. So if I said this is a disaster, this is kind of a disaster as well. Oops. You know, you need some bigger action. Okay, now we're starting to go, so maybe now we can get going. Breakthrough VWAP, I think we can flip over to the long. So let's just be patient with that. There we go. We got another out on AMD right here. Let's just keep on doing that, man. I don't know, Obi, if there's anything specifically you're looking for, but that's kind of the idea that I had in mind.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about like we talked about that SPY level, right? I was like, I'm pretty convinced on the short in and around some of these levels, and you guys were here with us in the morning. We got short in and around that 443, and down here, I know Sean was right here where I was like, yeah, I was looking for that 440, but you know what? The market is slowing down in a peculiar way. It's kind of, it's noon time. I really don't want to be in this short. And you see a few reasons to cover. NVIDIA is kind of curling back towards high a day or like consolidation highs around this time. So I'm like, okay, reason to cover. I think that's a great reason to get out. So I get out. Now, two things there. Reason to buy, you can either get out of your short or you can get long, right? So it's like here, you kind of hold that 441 and then you rebid all the way back to that 443, and look at that. That stays a place to sell, right? So unfortunately for me, I didn't hit it again at that same price that I like to short it at, and yeah, missed out on a couple points move there. This was very disappointing where I was like, I did not expect this heavy accelerated selling to the downside back towards this 441. But what I like here, and then which kind of correlates with that 15,000 bounce, is like we test the highs, we come back down, we flush really hard, you kind of try to wick below that 441, and then you can't really get down there, and then you start churning on top of the 441 and start to turn. So I like that failure to follow through on the SPY that's happening, and then when I kind of saw that happening, I was like, okay, maybe here's a spot to start getting long a little bit of Amazon. I like that as well because we're making a higher low, right, on Amazon. So potentially looking for that bounce here, right, for on this hold. So I like the hold there. It looks like we're kind of consolidating and chopping around now. But yeah, let's see if we can kind of pop back up to where off of this 15 and test back here at that 15.1. We talked about this today, like the probability of it being an inside day, the chop, just testing this 100-point range, and a lot of volatility within this 100-point range as we've been observing, right? So the thing is, Microsoft has been making lower highs as well and lower lows. So yeah, a bit of a mixed picture there on some of the equities. Apple is mainly looking. I guess Apple's looking the closest to the NQs here. Let me just pull that up for you guys.
I actually just shorted Amazon.
Oh, nice. I am long Amazon.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
What's happening? All right.
I don't ever want to be the opposite way of Obi.
No. I mean, we could both still win on the trade.
Yeah, or
Depends on
Yeah, I
what,
mean,
what the
hopefully-
plan, right?
hopefully one of us just wins because.
Yeah, I think the probability of at least one of us winning is pretty high.
Yeah. No, it could be you or me. It's just like if we stay in this.
Yeah.
The problem, why I'm saying that is that if we stay in this zone, then we could both lose.
Yeah, that's true. We
You
can
know
just
what I
time out of the
mean?
trade.
Because
it's just-
you get stopped out once it hits your level. I get stopped out once it hits my level, and then 5 minutes later, we're
Yeah.
right there again. So let me just explain what I did real quick right now. We talked about. I said that we were getting short Amazon into the 40s, so that boom, there it is. We get it, comes right back in, and we just start taking it out in the 25 area again because our stop for Amazon is 66. So we'll ring the register a little bit there and try to get that. Meanwhile, there's more outs on AMD. The only thing that I'm pissed off about is I was waiting at 39, and we only printed 35s. So we missed out on that one, but there we go, man. I mean, let's just see what happens. See, here we go. So it's a good thing we got something out because here goes Amazon again, right back into those levels. What price are you long? What's at the bottom? 132.13, so you got a fantastic price right there.
I like the tape down there, how it was setting up.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, that's a decent place to risk.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's exactly, honestly, like I can't be more happy, with this sort of discussion. It's still on Obi, but that's okay. Fabian, no problem. This is why we have these discussions, right? I mean, Obi goes over the levels, talks about those, what kind of he's looking at. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to scalp the middle. So I feel like this is exactly kind of what trading is all about and what value that we really, really do talk about it. So yeah, I think the problem, I'll talk to Brendan about that afterwards. I think it's all good right now. But that's what we're looking at right there. The TQs did make a little bit of a move up. Again, we only got short right there. We should have got short up there again. All right, so this is another opportunity to maybe take this in for us to get a little more short. We don't have a very big position, which is why I didn't really notice it too much. We actually got a fantastic fill down there, just trying to play the ranges on the NASDAQ. We said we'd look to short the market a little bit or play the market when we see it, and it just hit that view up kind of as we thought there. So that would have been a better position to get short. My stop out for the TQs, because we didn't have many shares, I don't even really have one. But looking at this kind of level where we started to drop it off near 38.70, maybe even a little bit higher, we'll address that as it goes. But here goes the market trying to go back up to the upside. Our XPEV is just chilling out right now, not doing much. Let's check out the biggest and the baddest of them all. NVIDIA's right back to where we got stopped out at. 148 break. So that's, 147 break. We're right there right now. Okay, come to the party again with a little bit of a move down there for NVIDIA. I'm always thinking that means AMD is going down, but it doesn't necessarily because it's not doing anything right now. Back to the downside. All right, the one thing that we have to talk about, and I think it's basically right on cue for us because, Obi started here how long ago?
It's been about just over a year now.
Congratulations. We used to have the congratulations key right there. So just over a year from now. So if you want to get your trading journey started as well, very similar to how Obi did, you got to apply. And if you're looking to apply, why not come over to campus.daytradetheworld.com. And the reason why we talk about this, Fabian, it's on the screen right here, is that we have only a couple more days left. September 5th is the last day. That's going to be the Tuesday after Labor Day. So make sure you get your applications in ASAP. It's open right now to residents of Canada. I know it's going to make people mad because everybody wants to be involved and blah, blah, blah. But for right now, that is what it is. It's a greatly structured program. That's the only way we do it around here. Phase 1, get an introduction to all the markets. There's over 60 markets we trade here at Day Trade the World. Self-guided learning modules. You're going to do all that throughout. Phase 2 comes in. Kick off your live sessions, trading activity, proficiency targets, so on and so forth. Of course, we're talking about that's live platform talk. Then the phase 3 is you go into TMS, which is the paper trading simulated mode. Bring it all the way back down. Ooh, I never noticed this. You get a DTTW campus certificate upon completion. I'd like to get my hands on one of those. Maybe I'll join this myself. And then next phase after that, I probably won't. Next phase after that, trading goals live. So we don't want to take up space. You need at least 8 hours of trading a week. We're going to give that to you. Then you got 16 hours a week generally is what you need to commit yourself into the program. So I think it's a great opportunity to be involved with day trading and absolutely no cost. And whenever you hear no cost, then you hit the congratulations like that was right there. I like that. I'm going to have it. Fabian, tell me whatever that number is because we'll put that on the board for ourselves as well. So another great opportunity to be involved with Day Trade the World. Hit up your campus opportunity today.
Yeah, man. I think, like I said, I've been here for a year, but if I had the chance to go back and join earlier, I definitely would have.
I like that.
You know, as early as possible. I think being around like-minded people, other traders, can really definitely accelerate your learning process, and you get to see a whole new world, right? Yeah, definitely. You guys should definitely hit that up, and as early as you can, get around learned traders and more experienced traders, and build that community for yourself.
All right. Oh, you're trying to take my job here. I'm supposed to be the one promoting this, but no, that was great. And I think that's what's important, right? Is that you came here, you never heard of Day Trade the World before. You found out about it, I'm sure. And
I wish I'd heard of it earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And so now, now you get an opportunity, and that's where Neil and myself, we had another partner as well, decided to make campus office. We were the first ones ever to make a campus office, and what that was to get people that are in school, just the same rules you're following as a real trader, but bring them in and just teach them to make $100 or $150. If you can do something like that in an hour or 2 hours, it's better than working at a bar or doing something like that. Gives you a good opportunity to not only earn a little bit more money for yourself, but then also give yourself some experience in a field that potentially you want to excel in post graduation. So yeah, man, some good opportunities here. So we'll definitely talk about that. And it's September 5th. So watch out for all of that coming through. I'm still waiting. We did take some more here on the TQs. The market is right at the 50-period moving average. So, right at VWAP. So we'll take a short into that, see if it wants to work. Obviously we're up on the market here, as we showed you a couple times here today. So let's wait to see if that can come through. Amazon, I mean, I'm flat on it. We did take some out down there. We only took out 20%, so not that much. Let's see if Amazon wants to give it to us now. We're trying to be patient with all of these trades. The reason why we're short Amazon, not against OB, obviously, as he has a wicked price. I wasn't even looking at it down there. I'm just looking at a short rate now, so that's why my price is way where it is.
It is slowing down a bit down here, which is
yeah. Yeah, no, look, I like the short. I wouldn't be in it, but yeah, you just, the minute this thing starts to run, I'm going to say congratulations to you and then flush myself down the toilet on this one. But
it could go either way, man.
It
to
can
be
go
honest.
either way.
The way it's churning here, the way it's kind of slowed down, yeah.
I'm just putting some profit takes out now, man. If we can get something into the 30s here, I mean, now you're above the 50 period, you're above the 21, and it's starting to go. It's starting to go.
21.
Yeah, everyone. What, you talking about some 21 Savage there?
Maybe.
Nice, I like that. I like that one. No, I like that. Rich flex. So let's get going on that. Nothing else really though happening for me too much. AMD is still flat on this. And again, it's like you can't get blood from a stone, man. It's just if the market goes, we have our upside targets. You don't need to be in trades just for the sake of being in trades. And sometimes that is what it feels like when we're sitting here doing the show. And it's not about not having any opportunities. There are opportunities. And in fact, that 3M trade, I was still waiting 104.25. You see, we just bounced off of that again. So, that's a good possibility to break. We talked about liking that 104.25. I even like it even more now, just coming back in. So let's see if we can break that 104.25 on 3M. If the market gets going, I think that's going to be a good trade for us, but not in the blotter yet.
Yeah, I like that we held that 441 and the 15 as well. But like you said, it seems like we've slowed down a little bit. I've pieced off a bit. I'm still in I guess majority of what I had. But yeah, these 40s starting to slow down a bit. Maybe some consolidation here before we make a decisive move either way, right? Now we can see what Amazon has done today. If I kind of zoom out here on the bigger picture, like we got short here 133s before, and we got short here again on that turn that I kind of missed here on the SPY. I was like, okay, well, kind of missed it on the SPY, but now Amazon is setting up that 133. That was a good place to sell earlier this morning. I didn't really catch it for the whole move, but look at this. We've kind of been setting a range now, and now again, I've traded Amazon many a days now, and when it kind of sets up in the range and it kind of tells you that like, oh, 133 is heavy, 132 is holding, and there are times where as the market kind of like chops around and consolidates and does whatever, right, does a 100-point move back to high a day, Amazon can just use that action and kind of just trade within its own range, right? And we're seeing some of that happen today where it's like, okay, the market we have no idea where it's going. There's no real decisive direction, although it is directionally volatile when it does happen, right? Consolidation, break up, a little bit of chop, and then break back down. But yeah, I think we're pretty range bound. We talked about this earlier today. The way things are setting up, the probability of just an inside range day is kind of high, and we're kind of seeing that happen as we speak, right here in the live markets. Here we're pushing the 50s here, 3250. But yeah, if this is a range day, what I'm really looking for is that can we push back up to the 133s, and are those 133 sellers going to show up again for a third time today? But yeah, that might take the NQ to push back towards that 15,100. We can see that 15.1 came back in, kind of wicked really fast, and then got back down. And I think that was my cue to get short Amazon here 133s, but I didn't hold that. I understood that might have been a great place to sell, but I was a little antsy on my exits. As I exited within almost a dime on the first exit, but you can see that it went almost a point back down to 132s, 132.10. So, you know, a little bit range bound on the day, a little bit of a diddle, but yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing too volatile in the sense that like we're moving very directionally and the market's totally ripping to the upside or totally ripping to the downside, right? So.
No, it's a good call, man.
Waiting for the next trade.
Yeah, it's a good call there. Amazon is continuing to make a move higher, so good look on that one. Hawaii Electric right now, I mean, 1450s come in a little bit here. We you know, you can go back. Today's obviously the 28th, so we're only going back to today. But that high is 75. So I want to be here for that trade as well. And what I want to do first is short, and then readjust after that. So coming into 1450, if we do get a blast up to that level, I think we'll take the short. Now I know that they're going to defend themselves in the lawsuit, and they called it kind of frivolous and this and that. But I mean, there's still many people missing, unfortunately, deaths here, and I don't want to go short a name just because. I don't know. Sometimes I feel a little bit of ways trading these kind of names, especially when there's real lives, not just at risk, but lost. And I don't necessarily like to short, or anyways, it doesn't really matter. But we're going to look at 1450 right here. I mean, that came in, that was the halt level. We did spike up off that halt into 1470, but then really gave it up into that level. So we didn't really get back to 1450. The best we got is the 20s, which is where we're at right now. It's too bad because we're at 1440 now. Just missed that. Now you're down a little bit. I just feel the risk here that if it does take out 1475, it's an easy get the heck out of here play for us. So it's like 25, 30. Let's call it 35 cents with slippage there. I mean, the level 2, honestly, what we mean by level 2 here is the bid-ask spread. So it's really just level 1 is up here, and all the data down here would be the level 2. But there's a lot of shares right now, and I feel like slippage is not necessarily a thing on this, and plus it's only a $14 stock. So I'm pretty happy to be able to manage this trade if it does come through at some point here for Hawaii Electric. So that's another idea that we have going on. And then we'll just check in on 3M to see where that is. It's up there thinking about it. All right, so again, we're out 7 cents right now on Amazon, but we're getting close. I just don't want to, like I said, we'll see if it can pull back. If it does right here into 34, 35, that gives us 13 or 14 cents worth, and that's really where we're looking to stop out at. If this breaks too much higher, I'm just double checking my order right now through 65, 66, which are sort of this level up here. That's where we're gonna end this Amazon trade. So there we go, Obi. I said hopefully one of us wins. Looks like it's going to be you, which is great on that one. But we're just building a position now. So again, I'm going a different way here with this market. I'm using obviously a decent amount of share size here, trying to just scalp this way. Don't know if this is the right way. So like Mandalorian, this is the way. I'm not sure this is the way. So we're just going to wait for it. It's been weaker today, but here comes the market, just kind of cruising up. We said that this was a dangerous spot to get involved with, right? So right now is really when you want to be involved. So I feel like we do, there goes Amazon right now. I do feel like we do have some risk associated with this trade, but 132.66 and we're out of here on Amazon.
Yeah, I think this bid up is very similar to this previous bid up that we had as well, which was kind of very grindy, almost like a melt up type of move back towards high a day as the NQs kind of hold, right? The NQ and ES, we've bid back up and we hold. Now, how much time is left on this 15-minute candle to print? I got about 5 minutes left on the 15-minute candle. So we've had about what, 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive greens, and there's a little bit of price acceleration there. I like that. I'm going to piece off a little bit there into that. Price acceleration, I like that. Let's see if we can push back up towards, again, like I said, that 133 incoming pretty fast as the ES and NQ kind of ripping back towards that upside. Now look, we had this wick high at the 15,126, right? 15,120s, and then you had a wick high at the 15,1. Right? So now what am I really looking for here? So the base on 15 seems pretty solid, but it seems like sellers are roughly stepping down a little bit just based off of the tops that we've made on the day, both on the ES and the NQ, on Microsoft, on Apple, on Alphabet, on Amazon as well, where I guess I haven't looked at Google. Let me take a look at, no, I did. I said Alphabet. Sorry. NVIDIA was the one I'm talking about. NVIDIA as well, right? So NVIDIA is the only one that's kind of acting differently and kind of holding the market up. And yeah, as we bid back up towards new highs on the day on NVIDIA, this market looks pretty strong as it also bids up. So let's see. I'm curious to know whether we're going to form another lower high here, maybe in the 60s or even the 80s here. It seems like we're doing about a 20-point step down. So maybe the 80s, we get a wick high there. And the hold of the 441, right? We talked about this kind of failure to follow through. You had a really hard sell-off that came in pretty rapidly, with volatility. You kind of slam down, you fail to follow through on the sell, you grind back, and then you bid slowly back up to that same level where that hard selling initiated from, right? So yeah, I like that. Maybe that's where sellers really are. Maybe this is the top of this candle here. Maybe as we kind of look like we're exhausting, making a wick off of that this top here on Amazon in the 70s. I thought we might get to the 75s, but hasn't really gone there yet. But we need the ES and the NQ to kind of stay strong for this move to kind of I guess draw itself out. I was waiting for that 321 on Microsoft. Not there yet, never really got there. I think that was a great place to get long on Microsoft, but again, not coming into play today. I guess if you saw that it dipped into the 21s, the low on the day is 2170s, 71 is the low on the day here on Microsoft. And again, like I said, maybe the real buyers will show up in and around down here. And so far, it's about 3 p.m., so we've got about an hour left till the close, but it seems like price is kind of drifting towards this area, this longer-term support trend area on the hourly on Microsoft. So I think I got that look as well. Bit of a pullback here on Amazon as well. So you know what? I just want to piece off a little bit here. Actually, you know what? That rebid was nice.
I mean, we already got stopped out, so you're the winner.
I mean, it's not about winning or losing. I'm just trying to take the move. You know.
No, take the move. I was just wondering, like,
off the move.
The reason why I said that is because my out was going to be 66. So
yeah.
I don't know. Someone said, you know, what was a reasonable amount of shares? For me, there, I only had 400 shares. So that's probably. I mean, again, when I'm not. You know, I can talk about Neil's share size or OB's or anybody's. I'll just talk about my own. So, and you could see that the average price there was 57s. So, or no, yeah, wasn't I short at 57? I thought I was saying I was going to take a 13-cent. So it's 54 or so on Amazon. So right there, like when we take that big amount of shares, that's really, you know, when we get to a VWAP, that's when we're really taking the shares. So if I'm taking 400 shares, I'll probably have something there. And again, this is just in the middle of the day. It's not even that big, like that's not even that big of a position. But again, when the market's not doing anything, we said that earlier. I said you're not going to take blood from a stone, right? Like if I can get 50 cents or something like that on 400 shares, I mean it's going to be $200. It's going to be fine. you know, obviously we're not paying any bills so much with that, but if you can do that 10 times in the day and make $200 every time, you have to be 10 for 10 in your trades, which is pretty hard to do. So that's why we want to wait for something to happen, so that if we do need to put money into these trades, then we'll be able to do that with some more confidence and some more shares. But we need certain things to happen if it's going to happen. So like right now, again, AMD, you know, we trade that a little bit better, so you can, you know, figure out what we're doing with share sizes here. But again, it's just like you've broken above. Like, I use the 50 period and VWAP to make trades, pretty much, especially when we're like this right now in the middle of the day. Obviously, early, we're looking at the sticky note. We're looking at different names like that. We're looking at key levels. Gave us that BOB a break for 50 cents. You know, that's going to be, again, even if you use 400 shares in that situation and you make that trade took like 4 minutes, right? And so that's what trading's all about. It's about being patient, putting the risk into opportunities that you like, and sitting in the trades like Obi was and letting them pan out. So like right now we're short into AMD, are out for AMD, and this could get squashed as well, man. Up into here, into the 60s, trying to take out some of these levels is where we'd look at to get out of AMD. But we don't need the market just to float around here and then, oh, I'm stopped out again, oh, I'm stopped out. It's, you got to make sure that the market's trending in a certain way. You've said that numerous times today about the trend of the market being your friend, and that is just really so true. You know, if the market's not your friend, then at least you have good people that are your friends, like my good friend, Daniel Shea. So let's go over to the desk here with Brendan and talk to Danielle.
It is Monday afternoon. Let's get you some options ideas for the remainder of the week. Danielle Shea is VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. We've been discussing over the past couple of weeks, Danielle Shea, good to see you, how we're getting to the end of earnings season, but then every week I have a look at the calendar and it's like, oh, this is coming and that's coming and this is coming and this is coming. And it's actually a pretty good week as far as earnings are concerned this week. So a few interesting names to jump right into here. Let's get to it. Best Buy, top of your list this week. Tell us why.
So when you look at earnings season, I mean, certainly, you know, in the middle of mega cap tech earnings, it's incredibly busy, right? But what I like as earnings season kind of winds down and there's still companies reporting is that there's a lot of tradable moves here. And so as you get into retail and cybersecurity stocks, I mean, we can still trade these. If you look at Best Buy, for example, we have an implied move in the options market of about $4.39. That's going to be almost a 6% move. But if you look at the way that Best Buy moves on a regular basis, 3.4%, 1.5, 9%, 1.9. I mean, you have a few outsized moves here, but for the most part, the moves can be a little bit smaller. So when I'm looking at this in the options market, what I like to do is just come in and sell the at-the-money calls and puts and buy some wings for protection that give me an overnight volatility crush event. So that's really what I'm looking at for Best Buy. And then ideally it doesn't tank like Dick's Sporting Goods did. But, you know, generally you're just looking for an overnight trade in the options market.
Yeah, we've seen basically all of the retailers not do too well on the other side of their reports this season. So, yeah, we'll see how it plays out for BBY. NIO, another one, top of a lot of not only investors' lists this week, but traders specifically as well. Always a decent event coming off of earnings. There's so much expectation and so many headlines around the EV market in China specifically. I mean, put numbers aside and expectations aside, what are you seeing as far as where this could actually go? Either direction here for NIO. I believe the report's, correct me if I'm wrong, coming up on Wednesday.
So I'm looking at this and, you know, I had on Earnings Whispers that it was going to be reporting tomorrow morning. And then in Thinkorswim, I have it reporting on the 29th, which is going to be tomorrow before market. So I have tomorrow, but you know, sometimes this earnings data can be a little bit off depending on whichever source you're using. But when I'm looking at a ticker like this, especially something that's so volatile, a lot of the time you can get a great post earnings move, you know? So, you know, I come across a lot of traders who say, hey, you know, I don't really want to make a trade before earnings. These stocks are crazy. What are you doing here? And in that instance, you can really, create a watch list at the beginning of the week, and you could look for some post earnings moves, because like NEO, I mean, this thing moves a lot. And, of course, at one point it was all the way up here at $66 a share. If you look at, where it could go from here, I mean, it has a $1 expected move, but if you look at the past 11 quarters, you can see that it's only beat estimates twice and it's missed estimates 9 times. And the majority of the time, it's also traded lower post earnings. So when I look at a stock like this, certainly I do have a bearish bias because of the data. But when you come across something like this, you can also see that last quarter, they traded higher and rallied after that. And I would have to bet that this was a short squeeze. That looks like a short squeeze to me. I'd have to check that data really quick. But anytime you can get a volatile stock with, so it has 6.7% short float, not super high, but maybe squeezable, you might be able to get a post earnings move out of it.
You are correct, by the way. It is. I mean, with these Chinese ADRs, I think these sites get a little confused because they report typically overnight or very, very, very early. The following morning, because it's the Chinese market. Anyways, it is the 29th is what I see as well. Let's talk a little bit about one that we were dealing with today, which is CrowdStrike. There's been a ton of attention on cybersecurity in general, but interesting levels coming into play just today here for CRWD on a headline. A couple of analyst moves ahead of earnings for Crowd this week.
So here's the thing with CrowdStrike is I love this stock on a long-term basis. I think that this space in general has just gotten a little bit hammered, probably more so than what they deserve throughout the bear market. When you look at it right here, I mean, here's the deal. It has got to hold this 142, 143 zone. And with the downside momentum right now, it may not do that, okay? So if it breaks right here, I think it's good for a quick flush into 131. If you're looking at, buying it long-term and holding it, it has an $11 expected move over earnings. And if you look at the way that it's reacted to earnings the past couple of quarters, I mean, it's been all over the place. We have an 8% move up, 8% down, 6% up, 18% down, like crazy, right? So if you're looking at earnings and saying, hey, might be volatile, might pull back into 131, you've got a 200 simple there, you've got some consolidation, let's try to buy this thing there.
Another one that coming off their last report was not good. CRM, Salesforce, right behind this on your list this week. There's a lot of expectations, obviously, with Salesforce on the AI side, although I haven't really seen a lot of follow through as far as momentum when it comes to AI from Salesforce. I don't know if I'm missing something or not, but what are you seeing as far as CRM is concerned?
I think it has to do with what you've been mentioning as well, which is that every company is trying to add AI in their reports, right? They figured out what NVIDIA did, and they got to mention AI as much as possible, even if it's not quite there, right? So when you're looking at Salesforce, I own this stock as well. I haven't been, very happy with what it's done this year. It has retraced somewhat of the downfall that it took throughout the bear market. But when you look at earnings, I mean, you have a situation where on one hand, this is a company that typically beats EPS estimates. Over the last 11 quarters, they've beat 11 times. That's great. But what I don't like is when you have a company that's beating and then half of the time the stock falls, because that just sets up a situation where you can't really go into the report super bullish. So at that point, what I do is I say, hey, you know what? I want to make a neutral trade in the options market, because this thing, half the time it's up, half the time it's down. You've got a lot of volatility. Your implied volatility, which is in this graph down here below, is very high. So I typically will just sell the calls and the puts with protection because of the up and down nature of the stock. But I still own it long term. They're doing relatively well. I'm not going to bail on this thing yet.
And they will need to say maybe a little bit AI a few more times in their call just to save it maybe. I just double checked that gap on the last earnings report was monstrous. And even as you said, a beat for them right across the board. I want to take a little flyer here, if you will, on this one, Lululemon this week as well. Interesting in the sense that we've seen some of these apparel makers not fare so well this earnings season as far as the reaction specifically to reports. I was in a Lululemon store just last weekend, in fact, and had to actually wait outside because there were so many people in the store, which might indicate the opposite, though. But what are you thinking here for Lulu?
You know, the same thing happened to me at Costco yesterday. The line was so long. And, you know, I'm seeing people post stuff like this on Twitter. And it's kind of crazy because you look at it and you think, okay, well, how are some retailers having problems and getting creamed? And I mean, I agree with you. I like Lululemon. I think that they have a really loyal following. But I mean, the thing that concerns me the most when I look at the chart going into earnings is the fact that it's had two fantastic beats in a row. So last quarter gapped up 15%. The quarter before that, it gapped up 14%. While this is great, one thing that we've seen this quarter is that when expectations are really high and the company can't quite meet those expectations, the stocks are just rolling over and dying. And so, you know, I like Lululemon. I don't have any problem with it. And, you know, it's in a pretty decent uptrend. It could be better, but I will say that it recently broke down below the 50 simple. We have a squeeze consolidation here with a $30 expected move. It's really got to stay above 350. If it can't stay above 350, that's the 200 simple, and it could easily roll. It also has incredibly high implied volatility, so great opportunity for selling some premium in that stock.
Yeah, 840,000 shares traded today in total, so not a tremendous amount of liquidity, to say the least, which could lead to that volatility, obviously. I wanted to, I mean, one of the things or common themes that we've heard from some of these retailers this earnings season has been this shrinkage term, that everyone is running into this problem of higher theft right across the board, and that's coming across on their bottom lines and being discussed in the earnings call. Not something that we've heard from a Lululemon in the past, but a possibility perhaps maybe this time around. We'll have to see. The reason I bring this up is because they also have a very interesting policy, and the reason I was at the store going back 2 weeks ago was simply to return something that had ripped. And they're very, very good at, if you have something that you have purchased in recent years, in my case it was less than 2 years old, I think, they just replace it on the spot, hands down. I mean, not the greatest thing, you know, for earnings in general, because you're taking, I actually went to the shelf, took a new item off the store, and they said, okay, have a nice day, and just took it with me. So it's obviously not going to be the greatest thing for sales in that case. But customer loyalty, as you were saying. Anything else, Ms. Shea, catching your eye this week?
You know, this week, the main thing that I'm looking at is going to be in addition to earnings, because I trade a lot of overnight earnings reports, but I also am always focused on mega cap tech. And the two things that I'll point out to you right here, because I heard Sean talking about the 50 simple, and this is just so important for traders to know and understand right now, is we have the NASDAQ in a situation where it shifted below this 50 simple. Last week, it rallied up into that critical zone, which was what, 15,300 in the NASDAQ futures. And we've failed from there. We're in a downtrend. You know, it may not be super obvious because I think it's like the typical pullback in the NASDAQ after earnings season. But if you look at mega cap tech, you know, you've got Microsoft below the 50 simple. You have Apple below the 50 simple. Amazon still looks pretty decent. Amazon is up above the 50 simple. You've got Meta that broke down below the 50 simple. And then when you look at the semiconductors as well, SMH, SMH is also below the 50 simple. So the most important thing for me in my trading is to go in the direction of the trend. I use swing trades, primarily mega cap tech, you know, Tesla, and then I also do a lot of earnings trades. But when you have the semiconductors and the NASDAQ and mega cap tech underneath these critical resistance zones, it's really hard for the market to continue going higher. So we're either going to need a major catalyst, or we're going to get hit with the typical September seasonality where tech stocks pull back. And I mean, it's not the worst thing. We can short them, right? But my portfolio doesn't like it as much.
Nope, not this time of year, that's for sure. Danielle Shea, best of luck this week. VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. We'll speak again soon.
Thanks for having me.
I mean, the 50 simple, baby. But no, some good names there. Yeah, I like that story about Lululemon being able just to have the great customer relationship there, being able to go back, return your stuff. I think that's awesome. I think Amazon's something similar too. I mean, if you get, I don't know, we get like a couple packages a day, to be honest with you, at my place there, and that's pretty easy to return as well. You can return it like months later, and it's still all good. So I think that's obviously a very great part of the retail landscape. And I don't know. I feel like, I mean, maybe when I have Danielle on, she's going to be coming on Thursday on the after show, but XRT, the retail ETF, I mean, we've gone over that a little bit as well. That's been really gotten hit down to the downside here, XRT, recently off of the last couple weeks, obviously with a couple bad reports there. So we'll see. It seems like it's trying to catch a bottom here as well at 61 bucks. So that's going to be a good level to watch out for from the XRT, possibly slipping up. Another name that I was liking here that we've talked about, first of all, so we did put on more. So we got stopped out there, but we put on, okay. Now we're starting. We actually did put on, so once we failed up there, then we were able to get an out and a targeted out. So we put on some more TQQs there, and now it's starting to work. So hopefully that can come back into the downside. We do have new position right now on board. Wake up. I was going to, okay, now we're really starting to go on the market. So the TQs are going, but JP Morgan also taking down the bottom. We were short JP Morgan, and I actually left, so stupid of me, I left an order out there, so I wasn't trying to go long here on JP Morgan. We got overfilled, so it just looks like that. We had talked about going short on the banks today off of VWAP, so that's exactly what we did there and able to cash out until eventually we got stopped out right there at 148.25. Still positive, but then once we got stopped out, stupid of me, had some orders left out there. That happens sometimes, and that sucks. But right now, breaking down through the bottom of JP Morgan here. Let's see if it can go red today. It's too bad because we should still be in some of these shorts. But again, to get blown out on the top, it went 50 cents against us there. So we take 20 cents and get out of there. Now we'll wait to see where this can go. I was going to play this against here. So this is a trade that we at least need 1 to 1 for, man. 147.60. So right now we're short at 147.34. So we're only against ourselves 6 pennies right now, or, well, it depends on the spread, but that's going to have to stop us out somewhere up there. So let's be patient with this. If the market does want to give it up, I think that, although the banks are strong today, they're only up 0.24, right? The ES right now, so if we're just going to look at the ES, 0.46. So, banks have given it up. They were relatively strong early, but then been faded out pretty much here into the afternoon. So let's try to play the trend as being your friend. I mean, we did indicate here that there was a little bit of kind of like back and forth here on the NASDAQ at these levels. Again, probably should not have been short in here. We talked about that. So when it breaks out, I have no choice but to get out, which kind of does suck. And now the pullback in is maybe happening, but it's just happening back to VWAP. So let's take advantage of that. I canceled my 3M trades, by the way, to take that because 3M I want to get out some more Qs. Like, I don't know why I'm talking about this as I'm sitting here in a triple aggressive short on the NASDAQ. So you missed some opportunities to get out of that as well. But see right into there. So we highlighted this trade as a possible breakout trade because of, again, the good news on 3M. But once it comes up there and just kind of hits it, no. At that point, obviously, if it breaks it now, that would be great. But that's a pretty good move down right now. So I've canceled that. All right, I don't know if there's going to be enough people trapped or anything short to make this play work. There it is right there. So whoever's short's probably getting out, being able to cover back at the 200 period. So I'm going to cancel that 3M trade. And right now, just see, like, that's so frustrating because this is what I mean. Like, you get you get the trade in there and then don't execute it properly when it comes back into the 56 range. So unfortunately, we don't get out really anything down there on the TQs. Well, we got some 60s and some 58s, but we really should have been sitting here around 55, getting some more out. So let's be a little more diligent with these trades and start to get some more pieces out because this is important that we're able to get this out. So yeah, so far so good here. TQs, we need to get something out in case it doesn't break those levels.
Yeah, Amazon came right back into that 132.90. Now, you guys knew I was long 132.10s right? Pieced off a little bit into the 132.50, some more into the 60s, and then I get out like a little bit more into the 60s, and then I see that it's kind of it's holding strong. This is kind of like grinding back up, and we had just wicked off the 70s, so I punch long again into the 70s, doesn't really make it, kind of pops into the 78s, 77s, and then pushes back down. So I get out of everything on that. And then we kind of hold, and then we push back up for another leg. And I'm like, well, I'm not leaving that alone. So I take another scalp for another 15 pennies into the 133 test. But yeah, when we got there, we got a bit of selling there on the NQ and ES, and then the tape started looking a little bit heavier than it was before. More people crossing into the bid than before, and the bid actually dropping this time, where it wasn't really dropping here. It would kind of, people would try to hit the bid, and then it would tick down like 5 pennies, and then absorb, and then kind of bid back up. And then here, the tape is very, very distinctly different there. And I was like, yeah, that's a decent reason to sell. I want to get out of this. Now, almost punched in short right away, but I was like, hold on, wait, we're still consolidating. We didn't rip right back up all the way to 133.10s, or just in and around 133 where the resistance really is, but we are making a lower high. So I'm keeping that in mind. This 442 is also kind of consolidating here, just in and around where that selling, where that heavy quadunk selling came in on the SPYs, right? So we kind of we have that unnatural selling kind of come in, failure to follow through, grind back up, and then you start to consolidate right where those sellers kind of showed up before. I like that look. Do I want to get short back in here again? It is power hour. It's about 3:20. We've got 40 minutes left till the bell. So I don't know. This seems like a little bit of a diddle. I could get in short here, but with 40 minutes left remaining and us being so close to the high a day, I don't know if I want to hop into shorts right here, even though it looks so enticing. Right, so I want to wait to see what the NQ and ES really do. Like, we're making lower highs, right? We talked about we stepped down from over 15,120, we popped into 15,1, and then now we popped into 15,6, 15,7s, and then now we're kind of pulling back off of that as well. So let's see where that takes us. Maybe we'll be able to finish a couple of scalps, finish off with a couple more scalps here on either Amazon or the SPY, or if something else shows up as well. I know I've been watching Alphabet as well. That 131 kind of showing up as a level of resistance there on the Google, right?
Here we go.
So yeah, that's a little bit of a selling, right? Is that what you saw there? Yeah. I just see a bunch of like a wave of heavy bids getting rocked there. So as that comes in, that 131 holding as resistance on Google there. As you know, the market's kind of pulling back off that 442 as well. So bit of a chop. If
I was more of a religious man, I swear. Wow. Like, I don't feel bad, but I feel like throwing up now, like literally in my mouth and maybe all over this wouldn't be nice. Like, look at this on AMD, like absolutely stupid. I mean, it's just coming back in right now, but it's like, it just takes it out. We give it a little bit more room than it maybe needs to. Goes up to 61, and again, it's just like, that stop out right there just sucks because we're playing the range, and then it extends the range a little bit and just gets up there and then squashes us out at 55 or whatever. And then there it is right there, coming right back into the teens again. So again, it just would have given us about a 1-to-1, a little bit more than that, but that's a puke trade right there. So that kind of sucks coming back in there. But again, good. At least we reloaded this and are now positive on our futures trading today. Even though we still have half of this position left, we're still positive. Let's get some more out. Just put another out at 52 there. So there it is, man. And again, you see what happens. Like, you be patient. We talked about this just going back and forth a little bit. Obi waited for that Amazon at 137 and low 137s, able to get that, or no, sorry, 132s obviously, able to get that in the teens. We should have just waited patiently until we got to the level that we wanted to short anyways on the NASDAQ.
You see the selling?
Do I see the selling? Yeah, I see the selling.
Ridiculous.
I just said I almost threw up in my mouth there. But yeah, the selling's nicely coming in. Yeah, come on, Obi.
Reasons to sell.
I know, but the thing is, Obi, like, I like you and everything, obviously. But like, we're not really selling off here.
I mean, here's the thing. As soon as that tape changed, I got out of the long, and I was like, reason to sell right under 133.90s. And then it drops another 50 pennies off of that change in tape. I was like, well, again, I keep telling myself, reason to sell might be just, just whether you're short or long, that reason is a reason. So it could be a great reason to flip as well.
No, you ain't wrong. It's
Now,
just,
now it just feels like a
now
chase. Now it feels like a chase. Like if I just chase, it just dropped 50 cents. So if I chase down here, that's my RR is all over the place.
Right.
As much as I love the idea,
But that's the answer right there. I mean, you just hit it on the head. You don't need to do anything.
I don't want to cater to my emotions too much. I find myself.
you're not high. You're not
I was
high.
chasing all last week. No, I'm just talking to myself. Last week I was chasing so much, and I was getting really emotional about where I was chasing, and I got cut up. Because of that.
And you will continue to do that. That's part of the market. And that's why, honestly, Obi, it's like when you and I talked the other day, it's when you have your plays and you put all the work in that you're putting in on reading the charts and figuring everything out, man, it's like you just take advantage of the situation that's in front of you, and when the days play out, you're going to win most of the time, because that's why you're putting in the work after market, right? It's like not just for jokes. We show you. You're the one sitting there, man, every day after market, so you deserve all the success and on all sort of what's been happening in that side of things. So good job there, Obi. We did get a nice move down on JP Morgan there. We just got something out at 27, which is really nothing. We're going to hope that this can continue to move down. So let's see if JP Morgan now can start to really crank lower. This is what I mean about like wanting some real selling to come in. Like I said, man, I'm really happy with our futures trading. That seems to be working out for us here as we're starting to get lower and lower and lower, and we still have more than half. We still have 60% of this position on the triple Qs. So literally the triple times 3 Qs right now, because this is a levered product. So that bottom there was 40. So again, coming into this play, not bad. These are the kind of trades that I'm here to make, where my stop is literally 7 or 8 pennies, which is why we loaded up that position. So it's nice when the positions where you have the bigger size actually come to play a little bit, and that's what happened here. So this position coming in, so we like it. Hopefully the TQs can continue that momentum down as we're into power hour, and we'll wait for that number to come through from Brendan at 3:30. Not that it's really going to affect anything. I think that the big dog, first of all, JP Morgan, we just got to fill somewhere 22. So that's a little bit better, We'll still hope for a little bit more movement down. XPEV still is working here as well. The big dog is what I was going to talk about. First of all, Apple's still my #1 stock of the day. And again, taking some real shares there, getting it out when it ripped up to 180. That was a really good play. Those shares there coming in at 40s. So again, a really good take there. We got that on the flip of momentum. So look at the time here, 12:54. So if you go over here to the futures, that would have to be 11:54. So see what I mean? It's this break right there on VWAP. And we talked about why we liked that break there. Okay, there was a test. First of all, you could have had it there as well. So I think it's just a matter of time. Like that didn't pull back. That only pulled back 7 or 8 handles and then ripped. Remember what we talked about was this consolidation and then not breaking that bottom, coming back, not testing it again, then going to the upside. That gave a little more confidence on that break, which is this Apple trade right there. So the time sort of happened when we took VWAP. We really got going, and that's why that trade was something pretty good for me there. But what just happened again? Okay, so the TQs just fell back. Yeah. No, they didn't. No, nothing really happened there. Okay. Oh, it's XPEV right now. There's the bump. Okay, so I was like, okay, what's going on with the net? XPEV actually started to go up now, a little bit more than where we were just at there. So again, a good trade off the good trade off the open for Xpeng. Oops, still not there. Wow, right off the open, right there, 1760. And again, lost early on it, able to pick up something late, and now we're starting to take out highs. I feel like this is a good out for us, man. 1840 if we get to there. Let's not sort of look that gift horse in the mouth again. This is pulled back upside, so we'll get another piece out on the TQs. We'll bid a 56. Hopefully it comes back there. As right now, let's just see what happened on the TQQs right now. So again, comes right back into sort of this afternoon lull area of 38.40, stops, and now pops right back to VWAP again. So it's like, I'm just getting a little bit frustrated with the fact that none of these moves are actually continuing. Look, we're taking money out when this is happening, so it's fine. It's just, looking for that big home run might not be here today, man.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't think there's, even people in the chat, shout out to, I don't know who is this? Swiller Dows. Is that right? Swiller Dows? Scalped, very small win on Tesla, yeah. I mean, these are the kind of things that we're talking about. Where is Neil? No, Neil is under the weather. Hopefully to return maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, right there. Can you get a shout out? Sure you can, Steve G. Shout out to Steve G. Make sure you guys hit the like and the subscribe button. I'm coming back. Well, in a half hour, I'm switching over. We'll have a lot of fun at the closing show, and I'll talk about how some of these frustrations continue on some of these names here. But it's been good. It's been a good little after show there. We're waiting for everything to sort of come together here. We're short the market. Let's check out on Hawaii Electric maybe. Didn't really get there. We're still waiting for that 1450 spot right there to come into play as well on HE. So hopefully that'll be in there. Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, flat market today. I think that's about right, man. People talking about that in the chat. So we talk about not being able to pull blood from a stone.
Yeah, no home runs, right? Market's just in that range, in 100-point range.
Yep.
Last week, if you remember, we had a down day that consisted of what? We pulled off of 15.4 in the pre-market,
right?
And then we ended off at like 14.8. So we had almost a 500-point like drop one of the days last week. So does it make sense that we kind of consolidate a little bit and we have kind of a volatility, I guess you want to call it compression, because last week was pretty high. That reminds me, I haven't taken a look at the VIX, but take a look at that. Like we were talking about chasing that down move, and it was already at 132.50s and the SPY as well in the 141.40s. Imagine if I punched that short. Imagine if I was like, oh damn, I missed this trade short. The tape has changed now. Punch a short, chase that move. Look at that, wiped right back to where it was. A little too hard, too fast, right? And that's like that type of action can really, I guess, entice your emotions and be like, oh damn, I missed it. I want to chase this now. So I'm learning to kind of recognize that recognize that emotion, two, quell that emotion, and kind of like just wait it out, let it consolidate. We missed the trade, that's fine. Next trade. Right? Yeah, so we were talking about banks earlier this morning as well. So I looked at some of those. I saw some people in the chat talking about the banks kind of pushing lows. So I was like, hey, weren't they pushing highs in the morning? But yeah, kind of back into these opening prices here on BAC. Let's check out JPM and GS as well. So yeah, JPM pushing for low of day actually. Look at that wick reaction low off the first 15 minutes. We're about to hit that price right now at that 147 on JPM. And then you got Goldman Sachs here. Goldman Sachs looking like the strongest of the bunch, kind of still holding that 324 area, looking pretty strong if I don't say so myself. But 324 seems pretty nice area to get long here as it's held while the market's kind of doing that chop. But yeah, straight back up to the upside here on Amazon. Can't really expect those home run trades, right? What else are we looking at for today? I kind of lost my thought. I think I was gonna pull up a ticker here, but I have now forgotten what it was.
Let's go to Brendan and give yourself a little bit of a break. He has some news. Sure.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Yeah, I think you might want to talk about banks. We're short JP Morgan, so that's something to look at. You just mentioned those are OB screens. Come over to mine here, Fabian, quickly, and I'll just want to talk about this quickly. I just tweeted this out. And it's funny because you obviously didn't see my tweet or anything, but we're talking about volatility. The S&P has not moved, has not had a 2% move in 6 months. So that has, since 2108, oops, how do I edit this? Anyways, it's from 2018. It would have been nice if it was from 2108 because, that's how we do around here.
We would be back to the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
What am I doing? But anyways, now I can't edit it. Is this more than an hour old here? Must be. Yeah, 153. Yeah, way more. But anyway, since 2018, and it's only happened a handful of times. So shout out to CBOE there and the Wall Street Journal is where I got this from. So you can see right now here the VIX is just really doing absolutely nothing.
That's what it was, the VIX.
The VIX, yeah, you're talking about the VIX. So UVXY is another tool you can choose, but 2% in 6 months. Normally we were getting those moves, man. That's not true for the NASDAQ. This is for the S&P 500. So just an interesting fact there that you can say this hasn't happened since 2018, that we haven't had a move of 2% or more in 6 months. So definitely some coiling up there happening. And I could see that being, sort of par for both sides. Like maybe we continue that way until we get a reason for this. And of course, heading into an election year could be some sort of reason for that. More work needs to be done to make that the true story. But I could see something happening there very, very soon with this market. Whether or not it's something happening with Russia and China, you never know. Some of these things get blindsided. Not that there's going to be a black swan event or anything like that, but sometimes you never know what that next leg to drop is and what's going to cause it. It may just be that next little interest rate hike that they're going to maybe not throw down to everybody coming soon. And then obviously foreclosures and housing and stuff like that, with mortgages being at 25-year highs as well. That's been pretty nasty here. So, all right. So we covered some JP Morgans. I mean, the best we got was in the 20s here again. But these are just all winning trades, and it's kind of just piling it up. Like, wish that we had some more aggressive plays to talk about here. It's just we don't. And if they do come through, then we will definitely be looking at them. I got some good covers, man. We just fell right back into VWAP again, into the 200. So we're getting lighter and lighter and lighter. We have about a third left of this futures trade. So that was a good one, man. Brought us back to positive on this after legging in here, which was good, and then getting stopped out on that one, which was not. So back to positive on the TQQs because, again, putting more shares on once we get into a level that we liked there. Maybe that's another short opportunity, but to sit here and play this back and forth seems to be a little bit ridiculous. Brendan just gave it to us, $115 million to sell. So that, again, is a pretty big nothing burger for a sell side in balance trade, 115. Oh, we have that new marker now. Let's just check that out. Why not? We have BKRK, BRKR right now. So we could go by here, sort this to see, to see if there's any sort of things here that we would like to look at. So J&J again coming through with another sell. So let's just click on J&J and see what the stock has been doing. That's Kenview for some reason. Here's J&J. All right, so see what I mean? Even though it's a sell imbalance here, J&J making that move to the upside. So a lot of these have to really be respected right at 350 when it comes out. So if any of these numbers get any different a lot, then we'll have a look. Enbridge today seems like a lot. Again, nice, that's still J&J. Enbridge, again, seems like a lot there, 3.5 million shares. It's only done 1.7 million. So it could be some index action coming through for Enbridge. We'll check those guys out at the close. Enbridge looking at that trade.
Yeah, the ticker that I was gonna pull up was the VIX, right? Not really an equity, but yeah, volatility index here. Had my eyes on it for a few weeks now, since like I guess June, July, when it started to kind of coil like this a little bit, and I was like, okay, maybe we are testing kind of lows in terms of how the VIX kind of ranges over time, and yeah, we could be expecting a pop in volatility, and we kind of got that at the beginning of August there. Now we kind of doing a bit of a chop here I like that 15 as well. The 15 area kind of seems like an area of interest here on the VIX. The VIX almost like magnets or like reverts back to that level, but it seems like this consolidation range here on the VIX is pretty nice, almost a wind up for a potential VIX in the 20s, Sean. Like imagine the VIX in the 20s again. I'll take that any day. I'll take that any day. I think the opportunities are galore in those times. The ATRs are kind of extended as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of opportunities with a lot more volatility there. But yeah, bleeding off a little bit today as the markets kind of bleed, almost melt up, back up towards their highs here. Like I said, the place to sell was up here near the 133s, and we did that diddle in the middle. So don't want to be there. Didn't really want to be involved. I guess looking back, when you get that hard sell-off, like I observed what that kind of looked like there, and I was like, huh. That's a significant change of that hard selling that just came on, and I was like, huh, that's interesting. But it seems like that was a great reason to buy, as well as that turn literally wiped out everything that we just did, almost kind of like a trap there on not just Amazon, right, across the board. A lot of tickers look very similar, where we just had this crazy volatile dump off, and then we kind of wiped back the whole move, pushing back towards highs. with less than 22 minutes, or actually 22 minutes exactly left in the day. So I'm curious to see how that last 15-minute candle prints on the day here on the ESNNQ, and maybe we can get a quick cheeky scalp off of that candle print there if we can kind of confluence that with the momentum coming in off some of these key levels, right? Range day, pretty much a range day. So let's see if within the last 15 minutes we kind of push into that range, we go for a break or we go for a failed follow through. There's different, different things that can happen at the edges of that range, and then if we see whatever is happening, we can possibly take a chop off that.
Yeah, let's go Obi for sure. Yeah, I just saw there, shout out to Adrian in the chat, talking about Apple starting to break out a little bit as well, taking that 180 one more time. Good trade there for Apple. Again, we only had one trade, and it was a good one, man. We broke that level, and then we took it into 180, and that's where we stopped. And that was a really good trade from there. And then we held 10% back and got out there. So not good on the out, breaking the 200, and it didn't really break it, of course. And then now you're making a nice little move to the upside. So let's just wait to see again if there's going to be any action there on Apple into the end of the day. We do have the imbalances coming just very, very shortly, so that's going to be something that we all look at here on the floor as well. We just did a little bit of a look there back into that. So we did short more of the TQs. It is starting to fade out just a little bit now. Obviously, we'll take something here. We just took some more 69s there. Our average price 68. Actually, we got 68s again. Or did we? I thought we got 69s. We were waiting at, no, we got 68s. Okay. So hopefully we can fall back in. We are looking at that 20 period, the 50 period again. We talked about that with Danielle. It's just a scalping level. I hope the market can come back in. Like, really, let's go, man. Like, let's get this market just moving a little bit more for us here into the close, just to give us something. I would really, you said if we can get the VIX going. I know traders, I'm sure we all do that, don't even trade these markets until we get the VIX moving around a little bit. And if they are, they have different strategies for different times, right? And so right now, I think that there's always something important to be said about that, employing different strategies when the market is moving in a different style. So that's something else now. And that's why we're just trying to scalp this out. Like, I'll take a 62 print, man, if it comes through. That bottom here on the TQs has been 62. So if we're able to get that, we'll take it. I mean, why wouldn't we do that? Exactly. So that's kind of the stuff that we're doing right now. JP Morgan not doing anything. So we should probably, I don't have any bids here, but we should probably put a bid around this 147.20 area again, just to get a fall down if that does happen. So let's just put a bid there. Something could happen on an imbalance trade like we just keep talking about. What else do we want to talk about here today, guys? DXY starting to go down, so okay. That's not that great for my positions, obviously. Anyone looking at GNS? We can look at GNS again here. This is, of course, Genius Brand and Genius Group right now. I know that I think it was Yannick was maybe trading a little bit of this on the midday show, and it just fell up or went up to 250 again. I think there was some dailies on this if you sort of extend this out just a little bit right there. So, oh yeah, that's right. We did talk about this. There's that high right there of 250 coming in. So that's about 270 right there. So Genius goes all the way back into March and April where we're seeing some of these highs. So I think that, you take 250, that's great. Maybe we get a break there if that does happen. What just happened there? Oh, something just got out? No, nothing came out yet. Oh, yeah, we're getting close to back to the high there on some of these markets. But yeah, Genius Brand looks good. Looks good for sure. A nice hold. When you're looking for sort of crazier stocks on the day that have these kind of movements, you are looking for hold levels. And right there, the 200 period just held. So 228 looking good. You have that top that they want to respect as well. So 230 looks like a good little level there for GNS. Because we're talking about stocks holding, why not go over to VinFast again? And look, like, I didn't know if this was holding or not. We haven't talked about this in the afternoon, but we keep saying that there are levels on this name that keep getting respected, and you just kind of got to look for past support on GNS. So I don't know if it has another move into the close, but it's really been holding 80 bucks real well. It was holding 77 before that, I believe. Yep, right into here. So again, some higher lows as far as support is concerned for VFS. So I could see some value coming into play there. And then we said this the other time that we talked about NVIDIA. We haven't really done too much work on that, but up to 470. This is my number one stock my number one stock is Apple, then NVIDIA on the day, then Alibaba. followed by hopefully TQQs, but that's starting to really test my patience as well, man, as the market's starting to go back up and just hovering around these highs. So let's try to continue to scalp some out. It's not looking great here for the market.
Yeah,
and the shorts.
I like that Apple is kind of pushing back towards those highs. We kind of defined that trend earlier as well. We saw that some of the, it's not just Apple, Microsoft kind of looks similar to this as well. Now, something I was noting, something of interest, a lot of this action here on Microsoft, Apple, Google, Nvidia as well, kind of it's an uptrend, right? On the hourly, you kind of have these lows that are holding for now, right? You've tested them only twice, but something of interest here is check out Amazon. Now, Amazon is the only one that has made a lower high. That's looking relatively weaker than the rest of those names. I think that's something I'm gonna keep in mind. I also know that from last week, 135 was pretty heavy as well, and today we're noticing that 133 is acting as a resistance with this double top. Like we flush down, the NQ gets all the way back to 15.1, high of day, right, or high of consolidation of day, whatever you want to call it. But Amazon gets nowhere back to the highs that it came from, right? Up here at 134. So that 133 is staying heavy for now, right? So I'm going to keep that in mind. That 135 was heavy, now 133 is heavy. So maybe there's some long-term sellers that are stepping down potentially on this name as the markets kind of pull back and Amazon looks a little weaker relative to the rest. Now I could be wrong on that, but those are the two levels I have in mind. Let's see if that kind of action confluences with those prices for us to take a potential trade on. Now Apple as well, like we said, we were watching that pushing high of day here on Apple as we're nearing into the close. What is this, pre-market high? Yeah, let's take a look at that pre-market high right there on Apple as we push really strong on the day. Actually, no, is that pre-market? Is that right before the open?
Just at the open.
So, oh wow, what a short out the open, dude. Look at that. Three minutes before the open, you pop up past 180, and then out the open, your initial reaction can't even get past that pre-market high. Yeah, I think that 180 is definitely a level of interest, and now we are testing it going into the end of day. In the last 15 minutes, I think we're poised for a little bit of a squeeze, Sean. As I say that, take a look at what Amazon just did. Damn.
Oh, I know. I was watching 133 level there. That's a big one, man. Starting to hit out. So I'm glad we got that one at 133, 132.60 for sure. The NASDAQ broke out, so that's it. Just take that out. No real damage done there on the last piece. It did come back in. Basically on the reloads, pretty much flat there. Didn't do too much damage on that, but unfortunately not really working out here. eBet, what? eBet was at 1.4 billion. Okay, so we've talked about this, tons of volume today. Not today, it looks like the other day. Volume today only 114 million for eBet, but yeah, I mean, some of these names just been so destroyed. Like Havana Woody and those guys in the chat there that like these names, you know, not worth trading now with only 15 minutes left, 14 minutes left, but yeah, I mean, these levels at 3, 4, 5 cents, I mean, you're right here, right now. You got a nice pop up into 10, 11 off of 4. So that was
squeezing.
Definitely a good move. Yeah, here goes the movement.
That's a
now
real squeeze.
Really starting to go back up to the upside now as here we go, man. Xpeng starting to go as well. There goes the market right back to highs. So it's, well, not to highs, but I mean, like, what's up with that, right? So, like, we wanted the market to start to do something. Obviously, it went the other way today. Nice upside move. I mean, we always talk about not waiting to get involved with these initial balances, but I guess right there we could have just played the long instead of the short. That obviously would have been cashed out a long time ago, but that wasn't really in the cards for me. So now there it is, right back up to 15.1. So maybe now you're getting ready to short it, but it's a huge move up right now. Obviously, XPEV's at this level, but who really cares? We should have just been holding on to our Apple short. When Apple gets going, man, so does the whole damn market. So Apple right now, huge move up, man, 180.60 and still going. There goes Apple. Huge move to the upside there. Amazon broke. I liked that Amazon. I was going to say if there's any time to short Amazon, it would have been at this 133 level because we've seen that, but that just cut through like butter right there. Huge upside moves. Yeah, the market's just not doing anything. Nvidia, I'm guessing, well, the market's doing everything. Nvidia, I guess, is at that 470, and here we go again. for NVIDIA 470. If you really want to YOLO something, this could be a good short if the market turns around on any of those imbalances. So right now, nice upside move happening. Looks like this market's taking names right here. Anybody short is going to get called out on this at the end of the day. But there's that move again. Brought it back down. Now we only have a minute and a half until those imbalances. So let's just check out, has anything sort of flipped over here on these imbalances? Still J&J, still this. NASDAQ doesn't come till 350 anyways, so not much on the imbalance locator. Oh man, we're thinking about breaking out because we're right back to that 15.1. And again, we talked about that earlier. Like this was the play early, gave us it all the way back to 15,000. Now you're coming back up to test the highs, almost as if this day didn't even happen. I mean, these levels this is right where the market opened, right on the NASDAQ. So this is where the market opened right here in this area. And this is right where we are right now. So the market makes that move up. We're like, wow, it's strong. And then there's the flush. And now you're coming back in again. So yeah, market be making moves here today, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know what would be interesting tomorrow, Sean? I think that we made
like
about
you're on a short
100 point. Yeah, I got short a little bit of Amazon there on that pop. Didn't really squeeze as much. That momentum slowed down a bit. I could be wrong. I chased a bit of the short there. I should have got in the 20s, but a bit of a cross there got me in on the 17s, but that's fine. Yeah, you know what would be interesting tomorrow? That 15.1 to 15 range that we've established today.
Yeah, if we can get it
right?
again,
If we can kind of play that range break or that range interaction coming in tomorrow, or we do a gap overnight, I think that'll be an interesting look. We've really wound up in and around 100 points. You guys saw the volatility extreme, like bid back up, grind, melt back up, flush hard back down with sellers crossing the bids, right? Very, very heavy. So, you know, I think that's some decent action that defined a range today, and obviously a lot of interest, a lot of volatility with that range. So tomorrow, if we get that range break, I like both those prices.
Yeah, so right now I'm just going to activate this filter, see what we can get right now for these imbalances. So it looks like Grab is going to be a sell to the downside right now. Coming through Shopify, looks like it has a decent sell on it. That number is very, very paltry, 260 million to sell. So it doesn't look like we're getting too much action right there on any of these boards. So not much here for the NASDAQ, not much happening. But again, man, you're really reading Amazon well. Good trade there as Amazon's starting to pull back in for you a little bit. DAC down to 133, so that's something to look at. There's Shopify again. We said about a YOLO trade, and again, like, why don't I just make these stupid trades? I sit here and average into losing trades, and then we find the good ones and then get scared because it's 350. But right there, 470 again. Great look for NVIDIA, hitting the support area or the resistance area, and then dropping down $2. I hope someone had that because, again, that's looking like an even better trade than I thought it would have been, back down for $2. So giving you that trade on Amazon, on NVIDIA. Wow, there's a nice move back. Yeah, so oh boy, starting to work on that one there. And again, you float back up into some past levels, and then it just hits it again.
It stays heavy.
Sometimes it's easy, man, and it just I wish we could make it look easy here on the show. I know you seem to be doing that with Amazon, which is fantastic. CLB, your first time over here with me, and look at that.
Yeah.
Successful.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah, pretty solid. You're getting a lot of love in the chat too, so that is absolutely fantastic.
I had some big shoes to fill today. You know, get well soon. Neil.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, if you sit here, you got size 13s, but
I tried my best, you know. But yeah, no, that short really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Neil will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully.
And if not, we'll be back with you, which will be a good opportunity.
You'll see me again as well tomorrow then.
Good. Okay, good. All right, so 3:52 right now. Join me for that after show. I'm not really looking at anything. I mean, someone just asked. Oh, this is my chart here. Get this off the screen. That was just a NASDAQ 5-minute chart that was leaking over into you guys. Oh, there it is again. I got to pull it up. All right. Some of you guys asked about Carvana here today. Again, a beautiful move up that 10%. Looking to figure something out there. So 45.75 or so on Carvana. Nice move up, but again, not really doing too much there on Carvana right now into the close. But again, good moves. Let's check out VinFast if we can for anybody that's still doing that. Again, looking like it wants to hold 80 bucks. That could be a trade into tomorrow for VinFast. We had that high of 92 that some of our viewers did catch as well. So that looks like that's going to be a good opportunity to come through for many people. Not many imbalances anywhere that I'm seeing at all. So
Yeah, there's nothing significant.
I mean, do you? I don't see anything significant. I know you probably don't.
Nothing really, no.
Nothing significant on the Amex side either. We said we would look at that, so that's nothing coming out today either. But yeah, I'm flat. You're flat. Let's look at earnings.
I took the trade that I was looking for, kind of,
Good,
right?
that's what you got
That
here.
range break. We talked about that range break. I missed the long off the pop, and I was like, well, missed that trade. What's the next one? Okay, and then we switched from the range trade to the momentum trade, where I was like, oh, that pop looked like that was a real squeeze. I was looking at it here, and I was like, damn, I don't want to chase. I don't want to chase. This thing's probably going to blast. And then, yeah, the 15-1 wicks off of that, and I'm like, okay, well, it's a great reason to short. People are probably getting long here, and then slams right back into the 133. So, yeah, and then on the 133, you hold, and then you start to consolidate 1580 here on the NQs as well. And, yeah, just a bit of a tape read. I'm like, yeah, that's more than enough for me. I'm going to get out now. 5 minutes left till the close. Don't want to get too cheeky with that, again, with the imbalances coming in as well. But yeah, no, I think it's been a decent day today in terms of it's a slow chop, but I think the opportunities were definitely there if you were looking. And yeah, if you were just today, like inside day, 100 on the NQ, and then the ES gave us, what did the ES give us? ES gave us around 446 to 4425-ish. So yeah, that 4425, look at those wicks. So both of these ranges on these futures, I'm going to be on watch over the Globex session and in the morning to see whether we kind of hold or kind of gap above or below some of these ranges here, and that could give us some perspective on how we're going to carry on over into the week, or maybe just for tomorrow as well, right? So yeah, got that on watch. That 443 on SPY is staying heavy, man. Yeah, I probably would have gotten stopped out finally off of that pop, but yeah, I never took the trade again. But that 443 seems like it's the gift that keeps on giving today, as you could have gotten short 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 times at that same price, and that price stays a great place to sell. So.
Yeah, there's just so many different opportunities there, but I do like the focus that you have there on the SPY. I think that's like super important, that if you're going to follow a market, you definitely want to look at some names. Like you got Amazon, you obviously hit that pretty well, and then looking at SPY, so shout out to that. The one trade that we never got into at the end of the day was Hawaiian Electric. And again, like here I am waiting for 40s, for 50s, when it touches 44. Come on. And then it dropped down for 50 cents. So again, decent look there. Not great execution because we don't have any executions on that one here into today. But with only 4 minutes left, let's just quickly look at the imbalances to see if anything has hit more significantly there. Enbridge paired off. I'm just pulling it down here so we can sort of see if there's any sort of stock movement there. Oops, not IQ. I want to look at, there's Apple. Apple actually came out with a sell as well. I did want to talk a little bit about earnings because we have some more tomorrow. Yeah, we have Best Buy. We talked about that with Danielle Shea. But there's the move down a little bit on Apple. So Apple did get this market going, man. Stopped us out of our Qs trade, which is okay because it's even higher now, so that's fine. But Apple got going, and then there's the sell on that. Google, you mentioned as well. So some of these big names, man. Google with the sell. There's Amazon I saw with the sell into the close. Not really doing too much on that. And 3M, ooh. Good thing we canceled that trade, although, look, it looks like it would have worked, man, all the way into the 40s, but I don't want something at the end of the day. All right, I got to flip over to the other desk, but I'll be here until the close. Let's just wait to see what's up tomorrow. So there's your PDD. So we got Pinduoduo on. We'll talk about that on the after show. NIO. Was that confirmed there, Brendan? I heard you and Miss Shea talking. It is, okay. So there was some differences there, but it looks like NEO's going to report tomorrow. Some of the Canadian banks, which unfortunately here we still kind of follow the same interest rate path as the U.S., so we'll wait to see what those guys can come up with. There's been, TD Bank was the most shorted bank in the world at one point. That was about, I think it was 6 or 8 months ago, but that was off the Horizon deal. And other than that, I like all those names. Tell me which name you think is in the biggest danger of missing there. Any opinions or not really?
Like I said, I don't really follow fundamentals. I don't know which one might be in the biggest, but we saw that retail has been selling off.
Yep.
And Best Buy, I see a name is there is on retail. We were talking about Walmart sold off, Target sold off, Nordstrom sold off, Macy's sold off. So Best Buy, I don't know.
See Best Buy into the close here.
I don't know what it's going to do, but here's the thing. I'll definitely be watching it and reacting to, if there is a seller on board that's pretty heavy, then yeah, I definitely want to get involved on that name.
Yeah, it's been puke city there. We did hear that from Danielle Shea, all the way to the downside, $72. But a nice, real nice move here into the close, up 2%, heading into that number. I'm not sure they have to worry too much about pilferage and all that shrinkage kind of stuff that they're talking about on all these other calls. I mean, I guess people could rob Best Buy. I mean, there's phones that are thousands of dollars just sitting there, but I feel like they don't have as much inventory out there, but I don't know. That seems to be obviously Best Buy. A lot of their business is online as well, right? So we'll check out that with Best Buy. But yeah, what a great day it is again coming through. We have Cat on the bell to finish it out. We only have a minute and a little bit left. So far so good. Yeah, I saw that Nordstrom. Shout out to everybody there in the chat. I saw that they were closing some stores. I think they're moving out of San Fran, getting out of there, and just not worth it for Nordstrom's to continue operation right now at some of their locations. Now, I just saw someone say in the chat, and I did see something on Twitter, doesn't mean it's right, but this has been a pretty sad move right there for JWN as well. So, all right, man, it's going to be a good one here with only 30 seconds left. Yeah, big size there, JWN. We'll watch PDD.
What do you think was the best trade today?
The best stock to trade? I mean, I think Apple off those bottoms were pretty nice.
Yeah.
There, I think you got that nice Amazon trade. What was pretty good.
Off the 132, that was nice.
I mean, I don't have very many good trades. I think the Alibaba one was pretty good.
Yeah, the opening drives on
there.
those Chinese ADRs.
Yeah,
those
the
were
opening
great.
drive was good there. I think the XPEV, I think the talk there was good, but it didn't really finish out as much as it should have been. All right, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're all close. It's funny because you mentioned that, and I'm doing a segment on the show, like trade review, and I'm gonna try to figure out which one do we want to do, because I think there's been a few good trades today. I think Hawaii Electric might have been pretty good as well off that 1450 there. But a big thank you to Katrine for ringing that bell, getting up and doing that for us. So shout out to Miss Cat there. But pardon me? Right. She doesn't want to walk too much there. It's too hard work, she was saying. But I think getting exercise is always a good thing there. Kat, glued to her desk, man, getting those deals done for us. So thanks, Miss Kat, for that. Kat, for that. See, sometimes we actually rhyme a little bit there.
But I'm not a rapper, though.
Right, that's a good one. What song? What song? That's Drake, isn't that?
I don't know what it's from. I think it's from like a comedy skit or something like that. I don't remember, but yeah, it's one
When's
of those.
When's that For the Dogs album coming out? Hopefully very, very soon. For those of you that are waiting for that.
You know, Eminem has a new song.
He always is doing new songs. He's always in there somewhere. I want to wait for a new album from him. I mean, the days of Shady and everything. That's what I'm looking for again. Just his embarrassing. Don't ever do that again.
What was
I don't even know what that was. Right there. So, all right, man. Yeah, we're going to be back in the saddle here again tomorrow. Ooh, I got to cancel my HE bid. But, hey, what a great day again from Obi. Thank you so much for coming through. So let's go, man. Hopefully you'll be here. Well, I hope Neil's here tomorrow, but you're going to be here anyways. So if that has to happen, then we'll have Obi on the 1s and 2s tomorrow again. We had Yannick filling in for Max and for you, I guess, doing that work as well. Thanks to Sharif for coming through. Thanks to, again, a big thanks over there because Fabian was doing it without Ramin today. So thank you so much for that, Fabian, and that was a great job. Randy was switching a little bit, as was Rob. And then a big thanks to the big guy at the desk over there who's always holding this together, Brendo. So, all right. So from everybody here, thank you so much for watching. Obi, wrap it up for everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. We hope to see you soon. Happy trading.
Join me on the after show. Ciao.
All right, guys, we'll give you a quick wrap up here as far as what the market ends the day with. As far as both the NASDAQ and the S&P were positive, 0.78 for the NASDAQ.